Well, g'day guys and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at this river red gum, which is a type of eucalyptus. It's an Australian native, and this is obviously a bonsai in training, but it's only 1 year old. I bought this 1 year ago, about this size here. This little part here was a tiny seedling, and I'll put a picture in so you can see it. And this is how much it's grown in 12 months. So as you can see here, the base is already thicker than my thumb. That's in 12 months. It's really incredible how quick it's grown, and the bark has already begun to mature. You can see the immature bark here, but it's hardening off down here. It's beautiful. Now, this long shoot here on the base and this shoot here aren't going to be here forever, but the reason I've let them grow so long is because I'm trying to form a nice lump on the base of the trunk, and that gives the impression of an older tree. It gives it really nice taper, nice balance. And as you can see here, there's already a lump starting from this branch. So this branch will get cut right back and it'll heal, but it'll have a nice lump at the base of the trunk. And that's what we're doing here too. And hopefully sometime we'll get another sprout maybe here to give it a nice even growth right at the base. But yeah, as you can see, grows very, very quickly. It was initially it was like a single trunk. I wired this branch here up to become make it a dual trunk. I do regret it a little bit just because I didn't wire it into a shape that I absolutely love. But you know what? It's just my first eucalypt and don't really mind. But check out that foliage there. It's crazy. So we're going to cut it back now. But as you can see, really, really simple concept. You have your seedling, you cut off the apex, let it back bud, wire up a branch, and then forks up here, cut it back, and as you can see, it's separated into two. You trim it again at about the second or third internode, and same thing, cut it back, and look, back buds and then separates. And then that's what we're going to be doing again. So you continue that process and it reduces the ramification, reduces the size of the leaves, and makes it look like an old tree in a big pot. But we're still years and years away from that. But yeah, let's get into the pruning. So as you can see here, I pruned it back to 2 internodes here, and it's split, and then I've wired it. And then here is where there were 2 internodes, cut it back. So it went from 1 branch to 2 branches, and then 2 branches to 4 branches, right? So you're getting that nice division. So I'm just gonna do the same thing to replicate that so that we have this nice dense foliage up the top here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes here. Now I'm gonna chop it right back to right here. Now it seems like a lot, I know, but these buds in here are dormant. But now that I've cut it back, the energy doesn't focus on the apex, but it'll come back and sprout from here. It'll shoot from here. So I'll do the same thing. So you have 1, 2, 3. Now, I think that's a little bit close. I mean, it probably isn't, but I'm actually going to cut it back here. So that's the same thing. So now it's same thing as before. So it's gone from 1 branch to 2 branches, 2 branches here to 4 branches, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these 4 here, these 2 branches here are going to replicate again. And then we'll get 2 branches out here and 2 branches out here. And so same thing, you can see where I pruned it before, this old dead thing, and this old dead thing here. And then we've got 2 internodes here, 1, 2, cut it back here, just above. You want to give it a bit of room for dieback too. You don't want to cut it right by the leaf or the bud. And then here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So look, it looks like there's a tiny one there, but I'm pretty happy to cut it back to there. And 1, 2. So now it obviously looks a lot less dense and everything, but that's what you got to do. You got to keep cutting it back. Yeah, and you can see the size of the leaves. They're quite big, but these will all die off and then it'll look like that. So yeah, let's keep going. I hope that made sense, but maybe I'll just do another one quickly. So same here. There's 3 here, but I'm not a fan of this one, so I'm going to cut it back to the 2nd and 3rd internode. You got a couple here, 3. Yeah, I'm gonna, let's see, cut it there to see. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Now this one here, see how quickly it's shot up. My goodness. Okay, 1, 2. Boom. Now this one has sprouted a lot. So I'm just gonna cut it there. Look at what happens if you don't prune. Look at that that space between the nodes. Like that has shot up. That's why you need to prune regularly. If I got to that earlier, these nodes would have been a lot closer. So you want to shrink that internode, those nodes closer and closer, because that will reduce the ramification. All right. 1, 2. Bring that back. And like I said before, these big leaves here, if you don't like them, you can trim them off. They're the big leaves are where there was like a dormant bud almost, and it has one big leaf like this. It's the immature growth, and you can just cut them off if you want to give it that more refined look. But if you don't mind, then leave them on because it increases the growth rate and all of that. So you're just basically clipping and growing technique, directional pruning, and then anything that's way out of line, I just wire a little bit. So I'm going to cut this one back here. And maybe I'll put the rest on time-lapse so you can see. And man, such a fun species. It grows so quickly, as you can see. Can't believe this is 12 months. And look at all of this division already. So really exciting. It's very, very responsive with pruning. You can just see here how easily it divides when you cut it back. So in probably a month's time, these will all shoot and I'll have to prune it back again. But we'll get more and more ramification and more dense foliage. So I can't wait for that. There is a lot of dieback in this species, so you have to be aware of that and just accept that. And I might defoliate it either this year or next year, simply because I want a bit of back budding and I want some branching out on this left trunk here, because as you can see, there's nothing there, but we'll see how we go. I watched Aussie Bonsai Bloke, fella on YouTube, one of my mates, and he defoliates his eucalypts or his river red gum, and it seemed to back bud quite nicely. So if you're not getting the buds or the branches you like, you can always do that if the tree is super, super healthy. Yeah, that's about it. Once again, I'll cut off all of these base branches later once the trunk at the bottom here is nice and fat. Hopefully this season, but we'll see. And yeah, that'll provide it some good taper, and it's just a nice tree in progress. Okay everyone, so we're 2.5 weeks after the prune that you've just watched. I thought I'd give you a quick update on how quickly this thing responds. So like this is a new shoot here, and here's my hand, and it's already 2, 3, or maybe 4 inches, maybe 3 inches longer than my hand after 2.5 weeks. Now, some of you might recognize the man in the video here. That's Aussie Bonsai Bloke, another YouTuber and a mate of mine. He's actually going to be looking after my trees for the next little while. So this is at his place. I've just dropped them off recently. I'm actually going overseas with my wife, and we're going to be spending some time with her family, just because we haven't seen them for 2 years with COVID. So we're not really sure when we'll be back. Might be in a year, might be in a couple of years. He's going to look after it, and I'll do an update video when I get back. So it should look pretty different then. But anyway, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.